Today, let's learn what machine learning actually is, starting from zero, with one running example we will keep for the whole lesson. A notebook listing 200 flats your office has already rented out, and the monthly rent each one actually fetched. Machine learning means a program that is not handed rules. Instead, it makes a guess for each example, checks that guess against the known answer here, the real rent on that line, and corrects itself until the guesses get good. The whole subject then hangs on one question. What signal does your data hold? By the end, you will name the 3 learning types on site, write the 3 framing lines every real project starts with, and lay any dataset out as a table of facts. X beside a column of known answers, Y. Here is the big idea and the root. The signal you hold, what your data actually gives you, picks the learning family, meaning which of the 3 types of learning fits your problem. Not the library you prefer, and not the model that is fashionable this year. So we go in 3 stops. First, the 3 learning types and how to tell them apart. Then the 3 lines that frame a real prediction problem before any code exists. And finally, the X and Y layout, the table of facts beside the column of known answers that every classical model reads. Meet the 3 learning types at once, using that notebook. If every flats line ends with its real rent, you hold question and answer pairs, the recorded facts plus the known correct answer. That known answer has a name, the label. Learning from such pairs is supervised learning, and supervised simply means an answer sheet exists. Now tear the rent column out. You still hold every flats facts, but no answers, inputs only. That is unsupervised learning. And if there is no notebook at all, a program acts, and only afterwards receives a reward or a penalty, that is reinforcement learning. Hold this map. We stand in each pane in turn. Stand in the left pane. Supervised learning needs pairs. Each row arrives with its answer already attached. In the notebook, each flats facts come with the rent a tenant actually agreed to pay. A spam filter trains the same way. Every example email was marked spam or not spam by a person. So does loan scoring. Every past loan is marked repaid or defaulted by history itself. Because the answer sheet exists, every guess the model makes can be checked and corrected. And that gives the model its whole job. Hand it a new row with no answer yet, a flat nobody has rented, and it produces the answer the old pairs would suggest. Middle pane. Tear the rent column out of the notebook. You still know every flat size, distance, and age, but with no answer to check a guess against, predict the rent is no longer a job you can train for. What you can still do is look for structure in the inputs alone. Flats with similar facts drift together, small central studios in one huddle, large suburban family flats in another. A huddle of similar rows like that is called a cluster, and a row that sits far from every cluster is the unusual one worth a look. With no answer sheet, there is no accuracy to score, so usefulness is the test. Did the groups tell you something you can act on? Right pane. Reinforcement learning has neither an answer sheet nor a bare pile of inputs. Here a program acts, call it the agent, it moves a game piece or adjusts a thermostat, and only afterwards the world hands back a reward or a penalty. From many such rounds, it slowly learns which actions earn more reward. That act, get reward, update loop is how machines learn to play games. This course stays with the first 2 panes, mostly supervised work plus a short unsupervised slice. The reward loop gets its own course later. Now the picking rule you will use for years. When a new problem lands on your desk, do not ask which library you prefer, ask what signal you hold. Facts paired with known answers, supervised. Facts alone, unsupervised. Rewards arriving after actions, reinforcement. One honest case to test it. A year of server logs, no incident labels, and you want the unusual days surfaced. Is there an answer column? No, so there is nothing to check a guess against, nothing to supervise. That is unsupervised structure finding, not a labeling job you forgot to do. Family chosen next habit. Predict the rent of a flat sounds like a complete instruction, but it hides 3 open questions, so write 3 lines that frame the prediction problem before you touch a model. Line 1, the decision. When the model produces its number, what will someone do differently? For the rent model, we set the advertised price of each new listing. If the honest answer is nothing would change, stop right there. No accuracy score can rescue a model nobody acts on. Line 2, the label. Which exact real-world event does the answer column record? Line 3, feature time. Is every input already known at the moment the prediction is made? The next 2 boards show exactly how lines 2 and 3 bite. Watch how the label line bites. 2 teams both say they predict customer churn. Churn just means the customer leaves. Team A writes it down as gone within 30 days, Team B as gone within a year. Now take one real customer who leaves around day 100, still here by Team A's definition, churned by Team B's. Both models can be accurate, and their scores still cannot be compared. They are predicting 2 different events. The rent notebook hides the same trap. The rent we advertised and the rent the tenant finally signed at are different numbers. Pick one in writing before any code exists. The feature time line catches the sneakiest failure, and it has a name, leakage, the answer hiding inside the inputs. Mark the moment the prediction is made. Every column you feed the model must already be known at that mark, for every row. Here is the rent version. The discount the tenant negotiated only exists once a tenant has already signed. Train with that column, and the model looks brilliant in the lab because it is partly reading the answer, and then collapses in production, where that column is still empty at predict time. A column written after the event belongs with the answer, not with the inputs. Now the layout those habits protect, and we build it from 3 real flats in the notebook. Flat 1, 850 square feet, 4 kilometers from the city center, 12 years old, and it rented at $18,000 a month. Flat 2, 1,100 square feet, 1.5 kilometers out, 5 years old, $30,000. Flat 3, 600 square feet, 9 kilometers out, 20 years old, $11,000. A computer cannot leaf through a notebook, so we arrange the same facts as a grid. 1 row per flat, 1 column per fact, the size column, the distance column, the age column. So remember this sentence. 1 row is 1 flat whose rent we already know, a solved example. Each recorded fact is called a feature, and this grid of inputs is the feature matrix. Written capital X, the rents go in their own single column. Written Y, in the same order, row 2 of X and entry 2 of Y are the same flat. And when textbooks write X1, X2, X3, they are doing nothing deeper than numbering these columns. X1 is column 1, the size. X2 is column 2, the distance. X3 is column 3, the age. One trap inside X, a model reads every column as a quantity. And for size and distance that is honest, 1,100 square feet genuinely is more than 850. But a city name is not an amount of anything. If a listing's dataset maps Pune, Kochi, and Surat to 1, 2, and 3, a linear model hears an order and a spacing. Surat becomes 3 times Pune, and Kochi sits exactly halfway between them, facts about the code, never about the cities. Names are not magnitudes. So categories are encoded, not numbered. One hot encoding gives each city its own 0 or 1 column. 1 means this flat is in that city, 0 means it is not, and no fake ordering sneaks in. Continuous columns like size and distance simply get rescaled to comparable ranges when the model cares about relative sizes. Frame a real bank problem as supervised learning and catch the column that would cheat. Read the signal first. Each row is one finished loan with a known outcome attached, question and answer pairs, exactly like the flats with their rents. So the family is supervised. And because the answer is a category, defaulted or paid, rather than a number like rent, this flavor of supervised learning is called classification. The features X are the three columns known at application time: income, debt ratio, months employed. The label Y is the outcome column: default, 1 or paid, 0. Name the decision the score will change, approve, review, or decline before any money moves. Someone acts on this number, so the model earns its keep. An honest report needs rows the fit never saw, fit on roughly 800 loans, and report on the 200 held aside. The exact holdout recipe is the next lesson. Supervised classification. X is the three application time columns, Y is default or paid, and the score drives the approved decision. The trap. A column written after the default, like months of missed payments, smuggles the answer into X. The library will not catch it. Your feature time line does. Decide which learning family fits 5,000 customer baskets that carry no label at all, and resist inventing one. Look for the signal first. Every basket is inputs only. There is no answer column to reproduce anywhere in the file. And an answer sheet is exactly what supervised learning cannot work without. Inputs only means unsupervised. Let similar baskets drift together into clusters, groups of similar shoppers, and aim for a small number marketing can name. Here, 3 segments. Judge the result the unsupervised way. Do the segments hold together and can marketing act on them? There is no gold label to score accuracy against. Usefulness is the test. Unsupervised grouping. 3 basket segments, judged by coherence and usefulness, not by accuracy against a label. The trap. Do not promote a convenient column into a fake label. The purchase date labels nothing. If a churn column arrives later, a separate supervised model can sit on top of these same features. Hold 3 lines from this lesson. The signal you hold picks the learning family. Pairs, like flats with their rents attached, mean supervised. Inputs alone mean unsupervised. Rewards after actions mean reinforcement. Before any model, write the decision, the exact label, and the time each feature is known. And lay the data out as X, the table of facts, beside Y, the column of known answers. Comment below with the dataset you have in mind and where it felt foggy. That feedback shapes the next lesson. Subscribe so Lesson 2, the honest holdout split, lands in your feed. And open the ExamMaster app to revisit this lesson and read ahead in the course.